me some ice. Skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns, talk to me nice. You got to wine me anytime. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. Peel me a grape.
I'm Laura Bonicelli, and we are cooking with Italian style. It's not always fast, it's not always easy, and it's not always Italian. We use the freshest and finest ingredients that we can find and afford, and we not only savor the meals we make, but we savor making them. That's cooking with Italian style. This week, we're making that showy French classic dessert, Crepe Suzette. It's a delicate crepe flavored with orange liqueur, a little cognac, and flame for a dramatic finish. Well, let's get cooking. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to spend New Year's Eve in Paris. We had Crepe Suzette made tableside right before midnight. It was dramatic, elegant, beautiful, and absolutely delicious. My recipe is reminiscent of what we had that evening in that I add berries to that wonderful orange butter right before I flame off the alcohol. So we're going to start with our crepes. As you can see, just a few ingredients, and we'll start with cracking our eggs. It always surprises me that people don't make crepes. They have this idea that they're really, really difficult, and actually they're really not very different than a pancake at all, except for they don't have any baking powder in them, so they don't puff up. Okay, so that's 2 eggs and a cup of milk, and then what I'm going to do is blend this, add 3/4 cup of flour slowly, a pinch of salt, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. That went for about a minute, and it's all nice and incorporated. And what I'm going to do is put this in the fridge to chill. And so our ingredients for our orange liqueur butter are all here. We have a superfine sugar and the peel of an orange. One thing I want to say about this is when you peel your orange, don't go into the pith. It's bitter, so you just want the orange part. That's 1 orange and a little orange juice and some butter. And this is an orange liqueur called Prunier. Oftentimes people use Grand Marnier. Prunier is a little less expensive and actually quite good. So we'll get going with this. Start with our sugar and orange peel. So that's a 1/4 cup of sugar. In my orange rind, 1 orange. We're just going to mix this up. And you'll know it's where it's supposed to be when it becomes a solid color. Okay, and then this is 1 stick of unsalted butter. I've cut it into chunks so it'll incorporate easily. We're going to let that go until it's nice and light and fluffy. 1/3 cup of freshly squeezed orange juice. And then a couple tablespoons of my orange liqueur. You can certainly smell that. Now we're going to put that into a dish and set it in the fridge, and on with our crepes. So I took my batter out of the refrigerator, and I'm just going to pour it into a bowl. The reason you let it chill for an hour or so is to get the bubbles out. It gives it a little time to just let them work their way up to the surface, and then you won't have holes in your crepe, which is great. Okay, and I've got my little pan heating here. As you can see, let's cut that flame a little bit. This is a non-stick pan. I prefer using those for making crepes as opposed to the regular crepe pan. I find those really difficult to work with, and this is absolutely great. And then here I have my butter, which I put in a little cheesecloth package so that I can just keep control of that. And that pan is quite hot. That way I don't have too much butter. And this is about a 1/4 cup, so a scant 1/4 cup of your batter, and that batter is absolutely beautiful, right into the center of the pan. And then as soon as you put it in there, you quickly work it around like so. The pan is a little hot, but we'll get it cooled down for the next one. And then what you do is just let it sit until it appears dry on the top. Just checking this to see if it's nice and lacy and brown on the bottom, which it is. Now this is one way to turn a crepe. Just loosen it up, tilt it forward, and voila. And look at how beautiful that is, that just lacy brown pattern. Now we're just going to let this sit for another minute or so and keep checking it while it finishes cooking. On the second side, yes, it is done. And then we're just going to flip this right onto our plate and make another one. Okay, again, we're buttering the pan. Again, working quickly, just get that all the way around into a circle. Great. Yes, I do believe that has cooled down nicely. Now, crepes definitely have a good side and a bad side, and the first side down, which is this one, is going to have that nice laciness because of the butter. Then when you flip it over, the second side is not as pretty, so that's the side that you want to fill. Underneath, nice and brown, and it's dry on top. And I'll show you how to do a little flip. I love doing this in my cooking classes. So you just bring it right to the edge of the pan and give it a nice toss. Now I'm going to let it go for a minute on this side and keep going. So I have my orange liqueur butter out of the fridge, and I'm warming my pan, and I'm just going to put this into the pan and let it warm up and get beautiful and bubbly. It'll just take a couple of minutes and it'll turn into this gorgeous syrup. So you can tell this is ready to go when the color of the liquid starts to deepen a little bit and it gets thick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my crepes that I've quartered, lacy side out, and just place it right into the liquid, and then spoon some of this gorgeousness over it, and then another one, just place it right in the liquid. And next, I'm going to push them up to the side, and here's my last one. Liquid over the top. Great. Now, into the center, throw some berries. A little liquid over those. Just toss them about a little bit. You see how this is starting to caramelize. It's exactly what we want. And then, just a little sugar on the top. Like so. Okay, now here's the fun part. This is a 1/4 cup of our orange liqueur. Carefully pour this in. Don't pour it out of the bottle. You just want to really be controlled about this. And it's also a 1/4 cup of cognac. In it goes. Standing back. Voila. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's just going to flame for about a minute and it'll die down. And it will be absolutely perfect. So to plate this, I'm going to just lift out one of these gorgeous orange crepes. They're so beautiful. I'll lay it right onto my plate. And another. I think 2 is a perfect serving size. This is a very obviously rich dessert. Perfect for bringing in the new year. And then a little bit of our berries, which are just gorgeous in the sauce. Put those here, maybe a few on top as well, like so. And then just to finish it off, a little grated orange zest. Isn't that just beautiful? And you should smell it, it's just heavenly. French dessert, French champagne. I really hope you enjoy making my Crepe Suzette and cooking with Italian style. Bon année and bon appetito!